Next to present will be Ray Cutright from the Georgia section. Ray?
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here with you today. And I want to thank all of you for the support you've shown all of us the past year. I'm going to discuss 4 issues with you today. The first is member ownership. What is member ownership? It's working from the inside out, starting at the section level, getting section leaders, members, and staff involved. When I started at Idlehour 18 years ago, junior golf was dormant. The median age was 67 years old. So what did we do? We had a party. We had a celebration of junior golf. We invited the entire membership. 1,200 members. We had a lot of them come. And instead of talking, we listened. And from that day forward, we had our owners of junior golf, teaching. Many of you have gotten my letters about the accomplishments of our kids this year. One finished 16th in the U.S. Open. Another on the Augusta State golf team that won the national championship. LPGA Coach of the Year. Member ownership. Let's get our members involved from the ground up in developing programs, executing programs, so they can be defined and they can be measurable. Education. The greatest gift we give the PGA member. We have the finest staff in the world. They develop great classroom education. Branching out now. Field education. In my mind, it's a form of mentoring. Getting local successful golf professionals involved in teaching our members how to develop a successful environment where they can service their members, their customers, and develop a great business. I had the privilege of working under one of the greatest educators and communicators ever, Davis Love Jr. I can still see him, arms folded, famous bucket hat that he wore, standing there with his students, watching him strike golf balls. Not much personality, but always asking why, what was happening. And he taught me to never assume, always reach for more. Don't just put it out there, find out why. My third issue, communication. Is there anyone in this room that doesn't get enough communication? I want to see us have communication that connects. Grow the game. How do we grow the game? We have to connect. We've got all kinds of programs out there, but we've got to connect. Several years ago, I was asked by the Georgia State Golf Association to host a junior clinic, a girls' junior clinic, in the fall. Pretty tough to do it on a Saturday usually, but it's football season. Georgia's had a couple bad years, so we weren't too busy. I'm an Auburn guy. I really didn't think there'd be much of a turnout. To my surprise, we had 88 girls show up, mostly minorities. I have to tell you, as a teacher, as a parent, that was probably one of the greatest days I've ever had in my life. Those girls were fantastic. They didn't know anything about golf, but it was just a wonderful 3 hours that went by too fast. But when they left, I started thinking about it. I said, you know, most of those girls, if not all those girls, will never hit another golf ball. We assume they might. How do we connect? It's all about connection, communication. That's what growth of the game is, communication. What a great opportunity for our golf professionals. It takes effort. It takes connection. Ronnie Glanton, I want to thank you for reminding us about our core values. We have to know who we are to know where we're going. In my last issue, I want to tell you a story. And this story is about a friend of mine. His name's Steve Pence. Steve was my Titleist salesman. And he was my salesman for quite a while. Didn't know much about Steve other than he lived in Savannah, Georgia, and I lived in Macon, Georgia, about 2 hours away. We put together a demo day. The day came. I had a large crowd coming. One of my assistants came down to the range and said, Steve's sick, he's not going to make it. Now, can you imagine what that's like? 100 and something people coming, no Titleist demos. Didn't have time to worry about it. A couple of days later, Steve called me. He said, I apologize that I didn't make the demo day. I'm sorry, I was sick. Well, you know what I was assuming. I was assuming I was pretty mad, and I wasn't very nice to Steve. Several weeks later, I was talking to a friend of mine who was a golf professional in Savannah, and he said, you know, I don't know if you're aware of Steve's issue at home. I said, no, I'm not. My wife, being a teacher, kids with special needs, he said, Steve's son, Austin, has mitochondrial disease. Mitochondrial disease is a shutdown of the organs. Austin was 3 years old, couldn't walk, in diapers. He's now 11, same thing. Even the people that he worked for, the Titleist people, didn't even know Steve had this. Steve had another son, Braden. Braden's now 8. Braden has the same issues as Austin. Steve taught me Steve and Julie. And I had to ask Steve if I could tell you this story. But I'm telling it to you for 2 reasons. Never assume. Don't you ever believe you can't do anything better. But most of all, unconditional love. And I want to leave you with this thought. I've been a PGA golf professional since 1976. I started young. I don't know some of you in here as well as I should. I have unconditional love for this badge. I have unconditional love for this association. And I have unconditional love for you because I plan on getting to know you better. That's called ownership. I need some help from your end too. Remember that badge you wear and that brand that you represent and those members you represent. They're what's important. They are what makes up our association. You're the most important component. The 3 components that we have: staff, members. Remember it. I have to have your vote. I want to serve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ray.